Hello, everybody. This topic has been arising out of a very weird interaction that I had with Wuthering Waves community, of all things. I realized how other gachas perceive us after releasing a video that was meant to just be filler that landed with people that I didn't really want landing with, that have then discovered my channel and proceeded to send fairly unkind messages. The point of the video that I made was that I couldn't get into Wuthering Waves after playing Infinity Nikki because Infinity Nikki is designed with women in mind, and when you leave that, you start noticing other games using jiggle physics and scantily clad women but not men, and very specific tropes and designing around that, and that's why it becomes very hard to get into a game like this after you have tried a game that is catered specifically to women. Now, I got called a frothing feminist for that, effectively. Or rather, a raging feminist. But that's exactly what you are, and the reason why you are complaining. I engaged with this person a bit further, and this is where the point of the video arrives, right? The fact that you played Genshin and one of the worst gachas of the year, Infinity Nikki, then make a video shitting on Wuthering Waves says a lot. One of the worst gachas of the year, Infinity Nikki. I realized something. I realized that I hate that 1.5 coverage leaked outside of the community. I was part of the 1.5 coverage, but you gotta understand, it's a game that I cared about, and I still do, and I was talking about it as a player that is directly engaged in the game, and my critique was directed to the company. It wasn't to stir up drama. It was community's dissatisfaction, community banding together and sending a message directly to the company. What has happened outside of that is that outside agents have come in because of juicy drama to cover it. This is search term Infinity Nikki. I have filtered this by popularity. So the highest popularity video is just paid Infinity Nikki sponsor from a year ago that has 13 million views. But the moment you scroll past this, the second highest is Infinity Nikki release game trailer for PS5 games, followed by how to destroy your extremely successful game in one day, Infinity Nikki's cataclysmic downfall by Muujin. So Infinity Nikki is bad because, and this one doesn't even relate to the top one, but I bet it received quite a lot of extra views. Because Hobikage Games, I do believe, isn't the creator program, and she is an actual Infinity Nikki player. So she made a short at the release of Infinity Nikki, and I imagine that short, because of the title, received quite a lot of popularity when Muujin released How to Destroy Your Extremely Successful Game in One Day. Muujin does not play Infinity Nikki and is not part of the Infinity Nikki community. We are then furthermore followed by a foreign stream of Infinity Nikki, followed by the worst gacha update ever made. What are the Infinity Nikki execs thinking? Let's go back to this comment. One of the worst gachas of the year. You see, Infinity Nikki community has moved on, but we don't have any positive coverage outside of the community ever since 1.5. And in 1.5, we received a lot of coverage from outside of the community that also drove engagement videos up inside of the community that were reacting negatively to the update at the time, including mine. Like, my channel benefited from this. But because there was never any coverage on it outside of that, what is the game cemented as to people that are outside of the Infinity Nikki community? It's cemented as one of the worst gachas ever made. It's cemented as a bad game, when it's not a bad game. It had a really, really, really bad update, but it's one of the few games available that is designed with women in mind, and it is something that's very dear to the community. But normally, women games don't actually receive coverage, or all that much coverage. Love and Deep Space is trending on mobile games all the time. Most of the time, popular YouTubers leave it alone. There is a horse MMO that received coverage when it got into a scandal about their monetization practices. It wasn't receiving coverage all the time. Normally, women games are relegated to the graveyard of shovelware, effectively. I watch a lot of channels that cover more nostalgic or women-leaning content. That would be Dream Jelly. That would be Lee Speaks. Lee Speaks haven't uploaded in 6 months. I am slightly worried, especially considering that she had health issues before, so I hope that she's okay. Most recently, I've been watching Otter Talks Games. One thing that you notice is that these channels, they're fairly small compared to popular big YouTuber channels. And the only reason a popular big YouTuber channel will ever pick up a game like Infinity Nikki, if it's not a sponsorship, is if there is juicy drama. So when everything is going well, we get no coverage. When everything is going tits up, which happened once, we received a lot of coverage for a short amount of time. So for anyone from the outside looking in, this is a disaster game. But anyone from the inside looking at it, I mean, this is the Sensor Tower rating for November. We went up by 9 positions over its land release. So when it comes to people playing the game, I mean, look at Zenless Zone Zero. We're like right next to ZZZ. ZZZ is a very prominent gacha. It's a very well-known gacha. There's obviously money inside women games. They're obviously prominent and they're obviously played, but they're not covered. The only way that they're known to the outside community is through any drama coverage, especially very prominent drama coverage, which has happened once. Outside of that, it's like we don't exist. And I hate that. I hate that the drama coverage leaked when it did. Sure, it boosted my channel temporarily, because I've gotten that one video that gotten up to 50k views. But I didn't exactly want big YouTubers to pick us up. I didn't want people outside of Infinity Nikki community talking about Infinity Nikki, because they deeply don't understand the game. They deeply don't understand its problems, and they deeply don't understand the audience. Because they're not part of it. They're not part of the audience, and they're not part of the discourse that was ever happening. They wanted easy clicks. So they picked up on ongoing drama, and they got their easy clicks, and then they moved on, and they never picked the game ever again. So yeah, that's why I really, really hate that 1.5 drama leaked. But on the other hand, perhaps it's for the best. Now, this is a Discord message. It's from an open Discord, not from like a closed Discord, but I'm not gonna disclose who wrote it because I don't want the person to get any kind of harassment or anything over it, and I'm gonna lift it above my head so that we can all read. I'm torn between the idea of Infinity Nikki having more complex and in-depth combat mechanics, which is something that has happened in It's Not Good, and the type of gacha gameplay those mechanics would likely attract. Not good. As you saw from my interaction with Wuthering Waves community, the kind of community that is attracted to all the drama, that was attracted to all the drama in 1.5, the kind of community that watches big drama channels, the kind of community that likes playing other gacha, the kind of opinions that they express, the way that they express these opinions, they are fairly, let's just put it this way, they're fairly uncomfortable people to interact with. And sometimes it is good to be in the women games and shovelware graveyard because you don't get bothered by these people. You get to live in your own inclusive little community made out of fans for your game. And obviously it is not really impacting the revenue because we're now up by 9 positions, which is nice. We seem to have settled down. This disaster has mostly passed. We seem to be having a good time right now. So it's not like the game is not reaching its right audience. I feel like the kind of people that arrive at this game do not believe that a game made with women in mind is that their players are raging feminists and that not having it be a waifu collector is a bad thing. The kind of people that arrive, no matter men or women, kind of arrive to Infinity Nikki for Infinity Nikki. They know what they're playing, they know what they're picking up, they know that they're picking up an open world dress-up game with, obviously, with combat and with story and with all of those nice things, but in the end it sums up as open world dress-up game and it's targeted towards women and it was developed with women in mind, so any player that plays it knows those things. So we don't have the overly aggressive fan base interactions that we could have if that attention has suddenly fallen upon us. So I hate what 1.5 has done to us by exposing us to wider gacha community that could have probably done with never seeing or touching this game, considering the way that they are. And I hate that we're known as one of the worst gachas of the year. But at the same time, maybe it's keeping out the kind of people that it should keep out. Maybe the fact that the disaster happened is not a bad thing. Maybe what's remaining here are people that can just talk about the game from the perspective of game players or former game players. Like, if you have qualms with Infinity Nikki and you're somebody that played it before 1.5, cool. Like, you belong here. But not the kind of people that would just hang out for drama's sake, and not the kind of people that would be very aggressive towards its main demographic, and the way that they interact and the kind of desires and wants that they would express for the game. If anything, at that point, the fact that we're relegated to that game graveyard and we're seen as a bad gacha is probably beneficial to, like, the bigger of community. It's not the overall AAA perspective on cozy games as Infold was even saying, that cozy game market is largely unexplored by AAA companies, and obviously women-targeted games are rare and far in between, and I wish it wasn't so, because we make up quite the considerable population of game players, and obviously we can bring revenue. So hopefully the big companies are actually looking at the revenue numbers and not very polarizing communities that talk about a game, well, talked about the game once that they don't even belong to, because I want to see more games targeted towards women. I want to see more channels talking about games targeted towards women. And I want us to remain in that space without involving bad actors, is how I'm gonna put this. So I am sad that the top videos for Infinity Nikki are the ones to deal with 1.5 outrage, and even sadder that one of those videos is from a person that, and honestly the one with the most views when it comes to the outrage, that never even played the game. I am sad that they have signaled about the existence of this game to their wider community and that they disclosed the drama and nothing else. But at the same time, perhaps it's good that that person never talked about the game again, because we get to avoid the kind of people that that kind of channel would bring towards our community. But at the same time, it is a double-edged sword, because if this kind of game became significantly popular, it would prove the popularity and the viability of targeting women with games, and we would receive a more variety of games targeted towards women, which I would enjoy. And don't get me wrong, I can play games targeted towards everyone or games targeted towards men. That is not a problem. I play a whole bunch of RPGs. That it doesn't, not every game that I play needs to be targeted directly to me. I play MMOs, I play RPGs, I play cozy games, I play not so cozy games. I even play grand strategy, quite specifically Crusader Kings, because I super like it for some reason. So I can play games that are not targeted towards women, but I wish that there were more games targeted towards women, and the fact that the only discourse that exploded about Infinity Nikki, it was 1.5, is unfortunate, but at the same time, maybe fortunate at the same time. Like, I can't make up my mind which version of realities is better, the one where Infinity Nikki receives more and bigger discourse outside of that one drama patch, or the one where it doesn't, because there is a trade-off. Popularity always kind of comes with a trade-off, and I don't want to sacrifice the nicety of our own community in favor of popularity, if you get what I mean. So I know that this has been a really bizarre rant, but I never realized that this is how other communities view us. And now I know. And now that I know, I don't know how I feel about it. Express your thoughts in the comment section down below. There's no such thing as the wrong thought. Thank you so much for listening to this rant. If it were up to me, we select a big game content person that also plays Infinity Nikki. I'm pretty sure Hobikage would count, and we would uplift their content to a point where the highest grossing videos are not about the 1.5 patch. If it were up to me, because then we can have our nice little popularity boom, and it can still be inside our own community, but you don't have the kind of reach and mobilization to make that happen. So it's like, hey, it, the kind of things that would be nice about things in the world. Anyway, as I was saying, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Thank you so much for my Patreon supporters that support my wild rambles. Please express your opinions on the topic down below. This was entirely new to me, so I don't know whether the fact that we have been delegated as one of the worst gacha games of the year is Good thing or not, because on one hand, it makes people leave us alone, and on the other hand, well, I wish games for women were more popular in general. Anyway, thank you for listening. Toodaloo for now.